Let's talk about ALS, or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. It's one of the toughest challenges in modern medicine. But there's a really interesting new approach gaining ground, one that doesn't just fight the disease from the outside, but actually retrains our body's own defense system to get in the fight. So let's dive into this groundbreaking idea, immunotherapy.
So to really get a handle on what's happening, I want you to picture the body as a big, bustling city. Your nerve cells, they're the essential workers, right? They keep everything running, your muscles, your speech, your breathing. And the immune system, well, that's the city's security team. In a healthy city, this team is a total lifesaver. But in ALS, something goes terribly wrong. The security team gets, well, it gets confused.
And this, right here, is the absolute core of the problem. Normally, your security team does its job perfectly. It protects those nerve cell workers from any real threats. But in ALS, that same team makes a huge mistake. It starts seeing the workers as the enemy, so it attacks them, causing all this harmful inflammation. It's basically a case of friendly fire happening at a biological level.
Okay, so if the security team is the problem, how do you fix it? You don't just fire them, right? You retrain them. And that is exactly what immunotherapy is all about. It's like a new game plan, a new set of instructions designed to get that immune system back on the right track.
So how does this retraining actually work? Well, it's a really precise 4-step process. First, you've got to spot the specific troublemakers, things like runaway inflammation or toxic proteins just gumming up the works. Then, scientists can send in highly specific tools to target them. We're talking custom drugs, lab-made antibodies, the whole shebang. Next, you have to deliver the treatment, which could be a pill, an IV, or even a spinal injection. And the whole point of all this? To just slow down the damage to those nerve cells. Inside this game plan, there are really 3 main coaching strategies. The first one is to just calm down the immune cells that have gotten way too aggressive. The second is to boost the helpful, protective immune cells so they can act like peacekeepers. And a third really cool strategy is to send in a cleanup crew to clear out toxic proteins like TDP-43. You can think of this stuff as cellular junk that clumps up and wrecks nerve cells, and it's found in almost all ALS cases. And we have to be super realistic here. The immediate goal, it isn't a cure. Not yet. The goal is to hit the brakes on the disease's progression. For someone living with ALS, slowing things down can mean more time, more moments, more time to hold a cup, to have a conversation. It's all about preserving function for as long as possible. And this is not just some theory stuck in a lab. Let's take a look at how this new game plan is actually moving into the clinic. It's time to meet the real-world companies who are turning these ideas into potential therapies.
Here's a quick snapshot of what the landscape looks like right now. The big thing to notice here is the variety of targets. You've got Annexon going after a specific protein that triggers inflammation. Rapid Therapeutics is working with the immune system's natural peacekeepers, these T regulatory cells. Others are targeting totally different proteins. This diversity is so important because it means we're not putting all our eggs in one basket.
30%. When you see a number like that pop up in a clinical trial, it really makes you stop and pay attention. But what does a number like that actually mean? It means that in Annexon's trial for their drug ANX005, some patients saw the biological signs of their neuroinflammation drop by up to 30%. That's a real, measurable signal that the therapy is hitting its target, that it's actually calming down that confused security team.
And here's another piece of data, this one from Medici Nova's drug, Evudilist. Their trial showed it could slow the rate of functional decline by about 10% compared to a placebo. Now, I know what you might be thinking. 10% doesn't sound like a giant leap, but in a disease like ALS that just keeps progressing, any slowing is a victory. It's a huge win.
All of this progress is, of course, generating some very real hope. But it is so important to stay grounded and be realistic about the pretty significant hurdles that are still in the way. And this is what that 10% or 30% looks like in real life. A trial participant named John said he could hold a cup longer. That is the human impact of hitting the brakes. It's these small, absolutely priceless moments of independence that these therapies are fighting to preserve. But those challenges, they're significant. For one, these treatments can be incredibly expensive. Then there's the problem of delivery, getting them past the brain's natural defense shield, the blood-brain barrier. Think of it like a super selective bouncer for your central nervous system, and it's tough to get past. And of course, we're still learning about long-term safety and trying to figure out which therapies work best for which patients. So with all that in mind, the incredible promise and the very real problems. What does the future actually hold? Where is all of this heading?
To understand the future, it really helps to see who these therapies are for. Now, some do target that 10% of ALS cases linked to family genetics, but the vast majority of this research is focused on calming inflammation in general. And that broader approach is designed to help the 90% of people with sporadic ALS, the kind that has no known genetic cause. So, if there's one thing to take away, it's this. Immunotherapy is not a single magic bullet. It's not one thing. It's a rapidly expanding toolkit full of different strategies, all designed with one single goal in mind: to turn the immune system from a confused attacker back into a helpful friend and a protector for our nerve cells. We're really just beginning to understand how to effectively coach our body's powerful defense system. The progress is incremental, it's hard-won, but it is undeniable. And it leaves us with a really powerful question. As this science continues to accelerate, how close are we, really, to fundamentally changing the story of ALS forever?